Hi everyone, welcome to Cloud Trip. This is your host Amitav Das, and today in the video we are going to learn all about AWS IAM policy. In this video, we'll be learning about AWS IAM policy, how to use that policy, what an IAM policy is. We'll be showing you examples what an IAM policy is, and in this video also I'll be showing you a trick to how to easily comprehend. For example, IAM policy is given to you. So how will you understand what that IAM policy is trying to say? So I'll be showing a trick on that, and also in the later part of the video we'll be having a task related to that. So let's get started. So IAM policy is an object in AWS that when associated with an identity or a resource defines the permission. So policy is basically a JSON object. So it's written in JSON. So when you're associating that JSON to an IAM identity, so what do you mean by that? IAM identity can be a user, it can be a group, it can be a role. So it can be associated with them. So when a policy attached to them, you're basically giving them permission to do certain things. So a permission in the policy determines whether the request is allowed or denied. So the policy defines whether the request made by a IAM user, a group, or a role is allowed or denied. So let's look at an example of a policy. The policy starts with version, the statement. Inside statement, we are having statement ID, action, effect, and resource. Now I am going to show you a trick how to easily comprehend what this policy is trying to achieve. So I have named this trick as ER, effect, action, and resource. So when you'll be trying to comprehend a policy, we'll be first looking at the effect, then action, then resource. So what is the effect? Effect can be allow or deny. So if I have to say this policy in a single line, how will I be saying that? So the statement should look something like this: allow or deny actions like EC2 stop or anything, or S3 list bucket or anything on a particular ARN or resource ID, or to all of the objects. So got my point? So if I look at this example, so this policy, so I'll be starting the reading of the policy from effect. So deny, so this effect is deny. So deny action like S3 list bucket on all the resources. So I repeat. So I'll be starting with effect. So my effect is deny. So deny action like S3 list bucket on all the resources. So let's look at another example. So you can pause the video and try to comprehend. So one thing I forgot to mention, that IAM identity, that is a user, a group, or a role, can have multiple policy attached to it. So here is example of, for example, here two policies attached to it. So the first policy is telling me effect is with deny. So I'll be starting with effect. So deny actions like S3 list bucket on all the resources, and deny actions like EC2 stop instances on this particular resource. Got my point? So we'll be starting with effect, then action, then resource. So here is a task given to us, and the task says that create a policy in AWS to prevent IAM user to access a DynamoDB table. So I have to create a policy. So as I've mentioned, the policy is a JSON object. So it will be attached to IAM user that will prevent the access of DynamoDB tables. So how will you do that? So let's get started. So let's move on to the AWS console. So we are in the AWS console. So we'll be going to IAM. So go to the IAM. Remember, IAM is global. So we are in the IAM. So first thing we have to do, we have to create a policy. So as I have just said, policy can be of two types. Policy can be AWS managed, or it can be a custom policy which we can create. So click on policy. So click on create policy. So we'll be taking help of a policy generator. So this link, the policy generator link, I'll be sharing you in the description of the video. So what type of policy you want? It's an IAM policy. So in the previous video, we have created a S3 bucket policy. So S3 bucket policy can be attached. When you go to the S3 and click on bucket policy, in the permissions, click on bucket policy, you can attach the S3 bucket policy over there. So it's going to IAM policy. So IAM policy is basically attaching the policy to a particular IAM object. So it's the IAM policy. Click on IAM policy. So my effect will be deny. AWS service will be DynamoDB. From the drop down list, select DynamoDB. What actions? I am going to select all actions, and the ERN is going to be all. Or if you have certain DynamoDB table which you are going to prevent, you can select a particular ERN also. So the format is something like this: ERN AWS DynamoDB :region :account ID service type / resource path. So I'll be creating on add statement. So click on generate policy, and your policy is now ready. I'll be copying this policy and go to create policy. So as we have already created a policy, click on JSON, select all and paste. So you can also create using Visual Editor. So I prefer this because it is very fast for me. Click on review. You have to give your policy name. So name the policy deny access to DynamoDB. So it's going to be a description also. So it's a custom policy that you're creating. Click on create policy. Now we have created the policy. Now what I'm going to do, as that my task define me, I have to attach that to a particular IAM user. So I have my IAM user already created. So let's go to the user on whom I am going to apply the policy. So this is the user I have created. I have created this befriend, and this user is having a policy. I have basically attached the policy. The first time when you're creating the user doesn't have any policy attached to it. It basically doesn't have any permission to do anything. So I have attached the policy. It's the AWS managed policy. So it's the administrator access. In this policy, we have made explicit deny policy, right? It was a deny effect. So it's an explicit deny. So now I'll be attaching this policy directly to my IAM user. Search for the policy. It is a custom policy. So click on this, click on review, add permission. So when I click on add permission, it is being implemented. So this permission is being implemented at once. I mean, you don't have to wait for some time to get the policy reflected. So you can directly go to your IAM user. So the IAM user, for example, was using DynamoDB. He will be denied access immediately. So here I am going to stress on one more thing. So the user that I've created, first when the user was created, he was not having any permission. So later I attached a AWS managed policy, that is administrator access, and the administrator access was having all the permissions to do on my AWS account. So it has all the permissions to get all the DynamoDB tables, to delete the tables and everything. So later I created, as I just now created this managed policy. There is a customer managed policy, and this policy basically defines me an explicit deny for all the actions in my DynamoDB table. So you have to remember one thing, that the explicit deny always have the higher precedence. And so I have created the policy, and now I'll be moving on to my IAM user. So I've attached this policy to this IAM user. Now I have logged in my incognito window to this IAM user. So I'll be searching for DynamoDB table. Go to the DynamoDB table. Now let's see whether we can create a table or not, because the permission that I've given, as you can see over here, the permission to deny any action on DynamoDB table. So it will be denying any of the actions. So that can be to release DynamoDB table, from creating DynamoDB table, from deleting DynamoDB table. So this user is prevented. So this policy, as it is being attached to this user, so it prevents that user to do any action on the DynamoDB table. So let's see whether this user can do it or not. So let's click on create table. Let's give the table name as Cloud Trip Webinar. Copy that. Primary key, let it be ID. And so let's click on create. So let's see what it happens. So as you can see, it is telling me you're not authorized to do that. So that's the thing we wanted, right? So this policy, the IAM policy that you have created, prevented me to create the DynamoDB table. So we have successfully completed this task. So we have created the policy that has denied the IAM user to access or prevent the access of the DynamoDB table, and prevents the IAM user to create or release the DynamoDB table. So we have achieved the task. And so hope you have liked this video. Hope I was able to make you understand the concepts of the IAM policy. So see you in the later video. In the later video, we'll be talking about IAM roles. And until then, take care of your health. Bye.